Right, thank you very much for joining us. It's still the first Capital Plus Premier League show on the Joy Sports channel on Multi TV. I'm George Ade Jr. And I told you, if you're a Accra Heartsburg fan, well, you really need to listen in to the show all the way. And you can call a friend to join you as you view it wherever you are watching us from, because I know very well some of you are watching us from Tamale in the northern region. Great good evening to you there. Time to introduce my guest. And if I'm talking about Accra Heartsburg, we have to talk about one of the big men. And today we have in the studio, of course, the managing director of Accra Heartsburg, Gerald Ni Ankra. He joins me in the studio. It's great to have you, Gerald. Good evening.
Good evening.
And it's your debut as well on the show. It's an award-winning show. So we are very excited to have you on the show. And I'm sure we're going to build this relationship as we go on and on. Sure. And yesterday also we did the covering. We saw you doing the cutting of cake and all of that, dancing at the GFA Secretariat and all.
At the Heart Secretariat.
I mean at the Heart Secretariat, I mean. And you had a wonderful time there, certainly. But now we have to talk about a club that's won the Ghana Premier League, 20 times, haven't they done well? Yes. They won the FA Cup 10 times. Not only that as well, they won the CAF Champions League, won the CAF Super Cup, and of course won the CAF Confederations Cup. How would they celebrate 103 years of celebration? Have a watch.
As we are about to cut the cake, just have this feeling at the back of in you that today begins the new Accra House of Folk. Amen. The House of Folk that we all will be proud of. Amen. So I'll ask all of us to quickly get back and put our shoulders to the wheel. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you the best of the event and the best for House of Folk. Phobia! Masters. Phobia! Masters. Good, let's keep on. This 103rd birthday cake in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
All right, so Accra Heartsburg faithfuls enjoying the day. I have to put it yesterday, the 10-103 at the Accra Heartsburg Secretariat. That was quite interesting out there. And of course, I'm not too sure that was like what happened when they won the CAF Champions League in 2000 with Battalion 64. These are great days of Accra Heartsburg that you can think about. When I was young, I was very young then, but I had the vibe and I knew what it really was. That's right. And I just looked back at one. Normally, we don't talk about, we're not happy to talk about what happened on May 9th, but I tell you, when Accra Heartsburg played Kotoko, that was midweek.
That's right. That was a Wednesday.
I mean, just so people can understand,
sure.
That was a busy Wednesday, late in the evening, and we had the Accra Sports Stadium full. I mean, that's where we have been before. I'll also give you a little bit insight into where we are in terms of the battle between the Ghana Football Association and Ken Faisal. Just not something that we know, but I'm just giving you an idea of where we were. But Gerard, let's talk about, beginnings and all. We'll have to start with you because I know some Heartsburg fans are watching tonight and they want to know, who is Gerald Ni Ankra? How did he start? How did you get into Heartsburg itself? Did it start as a baby when your daddy used to take you to watch games?
Yes, it started when I was quite a very young boy. I think it started with my mom then being a ticket seller at the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Then
a ticket seller.
A ticket seller at the stadium, and then she was then working at I think PNT, Post and Telecommunications. Okay. But then she was also a ticket seller. She was taking me over, and then I think I just got the groove on, And then at the point when I was left behind, I was then enjoying the game on TV at one of the best defenders we've ever had in this country, the gentleman called Ado Damite.
Oh, Ado Damite,
yes. And I was watching, House of Folk matches in his hall, and I could see the, the jerseys of old and the posters, the pictures in his hall, and it just created that kind of, in me, and I think I just grew up with it.
Oh, really? I'm sure your father, the brothers, all were going to watch it. What was a regular Sunday like?
My uncle, let me say, was also a player of Hearts of Oak of old. That's the late Lieutenant General J. Ankra.
Okay.
And also was a life patron of the club. So I can say my blood is filled with Hearts of Oak. Let me put it simply.
Well, we'll get into that part. But as a young boy, did you ever dream you were going to ever do anything in Accra Hartsville, hold such an important position you are here?
It never crossed my mind. But it's a passion I've harbored throughout my working life, that it's a theme that whatever one has to do it well. So as and when I was involved, I got involved, with Hearts of Oak over the years. I got involved with the supporters. I got involved with the National Chapters Committee as the financial secretary and all that. Then I could really get the feel of what it is to belong to Hearts of Oak and how to improve whatever we came to meet.
We'll get into the bit of improving, because yes, you have a lot on your plate tonight in terms of telling Accra Hartsville fans what is going to change in the club under your tenure. But let's continue to talk about how you came up, and also what was the regular Sunday like when the league matches were played. I'm sure we're talking about some 70s. We're talking 70s.
Yes, I'm talking about the early 70s and late 80s. Those were times that the passion was on. I mean, Saturday afternoons was time for us to watch the Colts football. I mean, we could run. If you're a minute or two late to any of the parks, as we called them then, we just had to run from wherever we were, because we didn't want to miss a single, minute of the game. That was Colts football then. That was when we had the Space Warriors, the Bold Eagles, all over Accra. And then, as it went on, Sunday there was another football match. That was the league.
That was the league itself.
That was the league itself.
So you had a perfect prelude to the league itself. Because if you're running towards Colts football, I don't know what you do for league.
That's right. So then you could see that all along the line, you could track the development of a particular player then to the Premier League, or the Football League, as we call it then. So, but it's all along. I mean, it's obvious that something is gone wrong somewhere. But we'll come to that.
We'll come to that. Very interesting as well. And you talked about the fact that your mommy was a ticket seller. I'm sure you actually sneaked into the stadium a number of times without paying, and we'll have to be rolling the check.
Well, no. As a young boy, then we were not paying.
Oh, free.
You could just move into the stadium and watch the game. But you don't have to go beyond a certain radius where your parent will not see you. And these are all, I think, moves that actually attracted us as a young generation to get involved with the team. And for that reason, again, it's something I'm reliving, and I wish I'll introduce some few things so that we start catching them
with
young.
all of that.
Yes.
So as a youngster, what did that Accra Hartsville jersey mean to you when you saw it? The rainbow colors, the songs,
I guess it was like religion. When you see the yellow, the red, yellow, blue, I mean the rainbow color, it was just something, I don't know how to describe it, because it was just overwhelming. And by then, as a young boy, I knew that whatever it took Hearts, we were going to win at the end of the day. There was nothing called a draw game or, a loss.
It was never say die.
It was a never say die.
Truly the bones are rotting.
That's right. And it was just there. We were just happy. We didn't bother walking all the way from, I remember, we could walk from the Accra Sports Stadium to home, and you couldn't even feel the distance, because we had the chart. We were just describing amongst us the goals, the beauty of the goals and all that. But I think, again, we have to relive the glory.
Just trying to look through the line, and quite a number of things have changed, and not just changed, but changed drastically.
Right.
That we don't have a feel of what it was. But now you have to tell us about how you got yourself roped in and doing stuff with the Accra Hartsville, the supporters, the chapters, because I know you have a long history. So assume that, yes, you were a fantastic young chap who grew up loving the club, but you became a man or a young man and got into certain positions. Where did it start from, holding some positions of high capacity there?
I think, reliving the past, I really got involved more closely with the club when I joined Chapter 88 at Kotobabi. And
Purposely to sing and cheer? Did you have a good voice? Were you a good drummer?
No, it wasn't exactly a matter of only cheering.
Mm.
It was a matter of, mine was always to have a very strong organization wherever I am.
Okay, so organization.
So organize the chapter properly.
Yeah, I thought as well, because I'm not too sure you have a good voice or you're
no,
a good
my
drummer.
voice, I could do the drama very well. And particularly the heart anthem.
We'll put you to the spot at the end of the show.
No, not now. Because then you have to pay.
Okay. so just to the point.
You joined so 88, chapter 88, and then we had it strongly organized. I mean, we raised some funds here and there to get the work of the chapter moving. We did our elections and so on, and then it moved on. Then at a point, I had to stand for the position of the financial secretary of the National Chapters Committee. That's the apex body for all the supporters of the club. Yeah. An organizational body which is a very strong force in Hearts of Oak. So I won that. That was during the Neil Armstrong Motagbe era, who was then the chairman of the National Chapters Committee. So we worked for, I think, 4 years or so, and we had to hand over. But that did not end my association with the club. I identified so many things very good about the club, but then I realized they needed some few touches here and there. So I was put in charge of organizing, I think, the next chapter elections, the elections of the chapters for that year, after our tenure.
You were more like the Afarijan.
Thank you very much, precisely so. You know, so I did that, and I think the management was highly excited with the way I went about it. We looked for sponsors for the events. We had them. So virtually we did all this without actually falling on management for any financial support. And I think it was all a matter of getting management to know that it can be done. You know, so I went on, and then I think early this year, again, no, I think 2 years ago, again I was called upon by the National Chapters Committee to help, you know, manage the elections for them. That dragged on for quite some time because of few hitches here and there, but we were able to sort all those things out. And then middle of this year, we had a very successful election that changed the members running the National Chapters Committee from the Akambi, who was then the president, to Berry Matuahine, who is now the president of the National Chapters Committee. So basically, I am sure all these works I did for the club, you know, were being recognized by the powers that be. That's the board, and I think that was where the approach was then made.
Right. You want to tell us a lot, because I'm looking at some of your questions right now on Facebook. You want to pose some questions to your MD, Accra Hearts of Oak fans. Well, don't be might be a Asante Kotoko fan. You want to pose a question to him to see whether they can beat you. He's been going on and on saying that Accra Hearts of Oak is going to beat Kumasi Asante Kotoko home and away. That's one we'll get into. Let's hear from you on our Facebook page. It's Joy Sports, okay? And you can just get on there as well. You can do so on a short code 1760. Let's talk about how connected the supporters were with the club, because I've heard from coaches, yes, like what's his name, Jones Atukwe. If you're saying that supporters could come in and say, well, I think he could ask supporters, what do you think of this player? Players were that good that supporters could even come and talk about what they made of the player, and there was a wonderful connect between the supporters and everything that was going on. What is the situation right now from where you sit? Because the supporters some time back were complaining there's a disconnect.
John, let me tell you this, that's one of the most beautiful things about Accra Hearts of Oak. All supporters in every nook and cranny of this country feel part of the team, and you have to hear them. You know, but in any organization, there's just one voice or just one leader. But you must have a big ear or big ears for every suggestion from every corner, you know. And also, let me cite an empirical example. Just this afternoon, a fan calls me. Look, I have two good players I think should feature for Hearts of Oak. Can you say no?
No, I don't think you said.
Thank you.
So bring them over. Let's
good.
See
so bring them over. Let them be, you know, assessed whether they will meet the criteria. And if they do, they are picked. That's beautiful about it. We've had players. We've had fans calling from Asin Fosu, Takrady, Kumasi, Gorso, all trying to pitch in, you know, to ensure that the club takes.
Just trying to have a look at that. and when I speak to some of the supporters, they tell me, well, times back, you could know the history of a player before he wore the Accra Hartsville jersey. Crucial, essentially. And I think you made the point as well by saying that you follow the player from codes right in there.
That's right.
We have a second code system right down the country, and I think we all know about that.
Yeah.
But how are you going to bridge it so that if an Accra Hartsville comes today and sees a Ruben Nyani in there, he can know the track record of where this player is coming from? Because these are some of the reasons why they're saying that they don't feel connected anymore.
Great. It's a very simple thing. If you look at, cast your mind back to Hearts of Oak of old, we had the juniors, the most junior side, which was then called the Rolands. Then from the Rolands, you graduated to Auroras.
Yes, that's Auroras.
And then
okay,
from
but so it's Auroras, and they made us know.
That's right.
Anyway, and I have to say that Hartsville and the supporters have forced us to pronounce, words. I think it's Auroras, yes? But they always say Auroras.
It's Auroras. And then you played Auroras for quite some time, and you graduated to the senior most team. Now, cast your mind back again. The 64 Battalion was a fully fledged Auroras team that everybody knew were ready to take over from the aging players. And so when they did, it was no news that yes, they had arrived. And it's the same thing we want to run currently. We have now empowered the under-17. We have a youth coach now, who is called Coach Dauda Lutrot, who is supposed to form a team out of which we have to graduate not less than about 8 players to form the Auroras team come next year. And in the following year, we expect at least 5 of these players to hit the topmost, the senior most section. So all these are policies or strategies you put in place to ensure continuity. The era where we were winning matches on the pitch, but then we could not extend it over years, I think should be something that should be something of the past. So let me say there is a rolling program on, and I'm sure if we follow the way we've started, Hearts of Oak will be what we all be proud of, as we were in the 60s and 70s.
And for those of you who don't know why we always talk about the 64 Battalion, let me just give you a scenario of how good that team was. Now, yes, there were a local team like we have, Accra Hartsville play, but it was a local team that Jones Atukufe assembled, and they played against a top Nigerian side.
That's right.
National team, the Super Eagles.
That's right.
They had loads of their stars in there. I mean, everybody you could call a Super Eagle. Not what happened, at the Akwa Ibom Stadium. I mean, and they could play and draw. With the team when the Ghana national team, the Black Stars, had lost miserably in the round of qualifiers. It just gives you an idea of where our local football was. Because if you could take a full Hearts of Oak team and they could play at a Super Eagles team at the time in the 90s when Nigeria were really on the rise, it gives you an idea what they did in the 94 World Cup and all of that. They were really on the rise at the point. It just tells us a lot there now, but sadly it's not the situation right now. And the onus is really on Hearts of Oak to do all of this. We'll get into your challenges, but let's still stay a bit with the club and where they have come. Because one big question everybody says that, okay, Accra Hartsville 103 years, but what is there to show for? There's one key question that I don't know if you're looking at. The club is 103, like your brother or like your sister, I don't know what you want to call it, Asante Kotoko, but you don't have a stadium.
Well, we don't. We don't have a stadium. But the question is, and it's a very big question for all of us to ask ourselves, can our economy, for that matter, stand a club putting up a whole stadium for itself? We cannot.
I think it's spanning. Is this spanning 100 years?
Yes.
And we've seen economies upon economies. All couldn't have been bad. But is it that you guys really neglected it?
Or, no, I don't think.
But I know that he has joined Nyaho. I mean, Dr. Nyaho. I was somewhere, one of the places where he did, cutting sword. Where
it was at Kobiman.
Kobiman,
yes. That was just after Zeus. What do you call it? Soya's
What
era.
happened to that? What happened to that?
Well, it's all a matter of. It's not only a matter of acquiring the land for it. It's a huge structure that needs quite a capital expenditure. Okay, and for that reason, it needs careful planning. We have had a couple of meetings on that. Some few things were started on that project, like 2 training pitches and so on. But we need to do more, especially, fencing the whole place to ensure that it's secured. And then when you want to have any project done, it can be done. Discussions have started. I just took over, and so far I've met about 3-4 people who are ready
to do it,
to start something on the project.
You have a land. You have land.
We have a huge plot of land for this project, and I guess we just have to do it in phases. So that's the we're going to do the projections, present it to the board for their approval, and I'm sure something good will soon come out of that project.
And well, you've been in the system for a while.
Yes.
I want to listen to how the economy has really affected you guys in that line. You know, talking about the economy and where you are, and that's going to be very difficult for our clubs to do so. Because apart from everything, you know, the other clubs are looking up to the big brothers. Hearts are looking to will have to take this step anyway someday. Well, we have the Golden City Park, we have the Tema Park, you know, and there are places where in the First Capital Plus Premier League, when you go as a journalist, you probably have to sit down on the floor and all of that. Thankfully, Accra Sports Stadium and Kumasi are not the same, but they're not yours, as we say.
They are not ours.
So what are some of the real challenges? Like you're talking about the economy. How does it affect you?
Well, there was a projection, I think, years ago where it was going to cost us some amount of CDs to do that, you know, and if we are to go back to revisit the same projection that we had, I'm sure it will go through the roof. But that's not to say that it cannot be done. You know, it's a matter of going back, calling back the consultants, reconfiguring what we did. If even it means redesigning what we had at first to do, and then phasing them out, I think that's what we are going to do. So it's not that we've forgotten totally about the project. We're going to relive it and ensure that we start something. If even we don't complete within my tenure, I know that we started something during Gerald Ankrah's tenure as a managing director.
Very enthusiastic MD, if you ask me, and he's going to be doing the job. And he's celebrated as well in other fields. We'll get there, and that's why there's a lot of confidence that he's going to do the job for Accra Hearts in it. He's been around with the club. But let's talk about administrative structures.
Right.
This has been one of the reasons why our clubs haven't done well. We seem to have a situation with administrative structures across board. Now, before we even get into the Hartsville issue, let's talk about what you make of the administrative structures. They vary, you know, from the traditional system where there's a chief, the club is for the chief, and he decides what he wants to do with the club at any time.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily talking about Kumasi Central, but there are a number of chiefs who have clubs, and we know, Adriana Stars and the likes. And there's also the new school who are moving towards a corporate style, you know. But first of all, what do you make of administrative structures and how they've affected our league? First of all, before we get into
how it's affected our league.
Yeah.
I believe that there's just one thing I've noticed, and it is simply that though we went, the whole football season or league system went professional during E.T. Mensah's time. It looks like some other clubs adopted several systems to run with going forward. But I must say that looking at our structure, I can say that it's simply the structure that has enabled Accra Suffolk sustain itself throughout these years. Because I say that on authority because when I came in, when I joined fully Hearts of Oak, I realized there was even a constitution in place. So you just could not do anything anyhow in the club. Okay? And then when the professional dispensation also took off, we had to do some adjustments to it. And it's the same way, I mean, we married the two. And so if you look at
the marriage of the traditional and
the traditional and the corporate,
that's a bit
complicated, isn't it? It's very complicated, but it was done. And I quite remember I was part of a committee that was then set up, headed by our able lawyer Ernest Thompson, that put some few documents together, including Professor Kumado. Let me not forget that. Yeah. They put the documents so well together that, you know, one system going into the other wasn't a problem at all for Hearts of Oak. Though there were quite some grumblings here and there, but we, in actual fact, had a peaceful transition from the traditional to the corporate.
Just give us an idea. What was happening in the 2000s? You hardly heard something went wrong, you know, administratively, that, well, there was a managing director who wasn't very excited, or there was a chairman who wasn't very excited. With that period, I don't know whether it's, you would say, the wins masked all the problems, or truly, there was no problem.
No, there were issues. The issues were there, but the wins, or the on-pitch wins, just muffled everything that we had. But I have a certain philosophy towards that. The on-pitch wins are just short-term, you know. In ensuring us the sustenance of the club, there are other medium to long-term plans that we should have taken.
So you would not say that there was something that was really ticking, but on that Harry Zakor era with the chief, sometimes there's a chief. I mean,
yes.
I mean, we all knew him to be Tommy. I mean,
yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah.
But I mean, what was happening? Because it looked like they had such a cordial relationship. I'm not too sure what's happening. What's happening down there?
Again, the succession,
cordial relationship, topped up, glossed on, excellent stuff, winning games. Accra has looked to be out there.
Because then we had this system where this succession system was very effective. I mean, within, let's say, Harry Zakor's management, there was Tommy, there were other people, and it was obvious that should Harry leave the scene, it was obvious that it was Tommy who was going to take over. So then it just followed a certain trend, you know, till it became a bit corporate. And, you know, in the past, what were we doing? We had this, it was all charismatic leaders and people, you know, who could attract, you know, people just to the club for that sake. So it just went on till we hit the corporate thing where it didn't matter. Charisma didn't matter anymore. Money didn't matter anymore. But then you had to sit and do some more serious administrative work.
It was always important. It was always necessary to come. But what the fans of the club don't understand is, so what was so good within those times and why have we fallen so backwards? Is what they think about. They're like, really falling off the radar. We have to find ourselves back into it. So when you began doing the merging, then there were problems.
Sure.
Then there were issues.
Yes.
With who's really the boss.
But then the question is,
with giving a free hand to the new corporate guy, because you, the MDs, the new chairman, the new executive presidents are members of the new school, but they come in with loads of ideas. But because there is a tradition still hovering around, they are not giving the free hand to do what they truly want to do. I look at the managers across the board, and I think that they have a fantastic plans. They have a lot of things that they want to put in and ensure that the club is going well. But here's the goal. The tradition is also somewhere. So you can't do what you really want to do even though you want to do it.
No, I think rather I'm looking at it this way, that you have all the necessary brains in the club, but the vision or the plans that they have do not get implemented. And that is where I think we got it a bit missing, you know. So I am there and I'm saying, look, the vision is good, the plans are good, let's get to it. Let's get to work. That is my plan. We are getting to work to regain the Fobian glory.
We're going to give some credit to the sort of personalities who were in, or who were at the helm of affairs. The sort of personalities as well. What do you think? What do you think? Has there been a bit of a decadence? Okay, the sort of personalities that you had, you probably don't have such astute or such rich men around who could handle the club currently?
No, they are
Same
there.
situation.
No, they are there.
The board.
The board is there. I mean, those who are supporting the club are still there. You know, but we are trying. That's why we are putting certain initiatives in place. Look, I need not mention names on this program, but there are prominent chiefs who are Hasselhoff supporters. You know, there are top politicians who are Hasselhoff supporters who would readily call you when there are issues with the club to find out what is actually going on with the club. Now, it looks like and as well, those at the top, middle to top level executives do not find a voice in the chapters because they don't belong to the chapters down there. That is one of the reasons why we are setting up this executive group in House of Oak. We are setting that up so that they can get themselves together as a body and they would have a voice in whatever decisions are taken.
Okay, so we're digesting issues of Accra Hearts of Oak and going into it so you can have a good idea of what your club is all about, and especially what to expect from the new man and the new managing director, the man Gerard Nee Ankrah. He's here with us in the studios. Let's hear from you on our Facebook page. It's Joy Sports as well. And why not on that text code, or you can also send us that on our text, and the short code is 1760. Just one question before we go.
Right.
When you had the press conference, not long ago, when the unveiling was done, I think the Togbe mentioned that we're going to have a document. You're going to document all supporters everywhere and bring them under one umbrella. I heard that, I was like, Ooh, this is absolutely Herculean.
That's right.
I don't know how you're going about this because there's so many supporters scattered all around. It's not feasible.
It is doable. Let me put it better.
Doable is a stronger word than the word feasible.
It's doable.
Plausible, probable.
Yeah, it's probable. It can be done. Now we have supporters all over the country. Now, and we have the structure by which we can get them registered. So we are going to. There's a roadmap we are going to approve very shortly.
It will take some time.
Oh, it's not going to take some. Yeah, it's going to take some time. If it takes us 6 months to get them on a database, that's what we are going to do. So every supporter in every corner of this country gets registered or gets his name and picture on the Hearts Fans database.
Well, that's interesting, and loads of innovative ideas coming through by the man Gerard Niankra. We'll get back into his business, what he's really coming out to do for the club, that's one. And some very tricky questions as well. Some supporters come up to me and they say, oh, George, it looks like our club has gone away. It looks like somebody has taken our club. We don't own the club anymore. We want to go back. We'll talk about the share issue, where it has gotten to, what it really means for you, right? And then when I come back, I'm going to give you my provocative 11, best 11 of all times for Accra Hearts. I know you won't agree on me, on some, but that's why I put it up there. So let me hear from you on our Facebook page on the Short Call. We'll take a short break. When we come back, it's still the first Capital Plus Premier League show. Joy Sports. We just reminded Gerard of what he's really got himself to. It is a big club, and let's go elsewhere in England. We're talking about a big club like Manchester United, traditional club. Sorry about the Chelsea fans, not that traditional in England, but we're talking about traditional club here. Accra Hearts, that's it. That's where you find yourself now. Yes. And you are the managing director. Now tell me, what are your aims? What do you want to see happen in Accra Hearts before Gerard Niankra is over? Leaves the seat.
Well, within the time that I've been granted, mine is to ensure that the vision of the club is achieved, that it becomes the most trusted brand in Africa when it comes to football.
That's really huge. Yeah, that's a huge.
Yes.
I don't know how many years you have. 2 years, I know.
2 years. Renewable again,
but for an extension after that.
Yes. So we are hoping. It all depends on the structures that I work with. How I begin, and that's so far so good. I've started touring, and I'm listening to the supporters and what they want done, and I'm marrying that with the vision of or the objectives as set by the board. And I believe it's not something that is unsurmountable. It can be achieved.
Is there anything you want to do, trying to get them mechanized, ensure that people can get the jerseys and wear the jerseys? They don't get the jerseys to wear the jerseys. There's no, I know the secretariat, yes, but I come there a number of times, but I don't really see them. How can you get these out there? Let's talk about our stars. Let's have them on the billboards. Let's talk about what we have in Accra Hearts. If it's Sean October, if it's Ruben Yanni, let's talk about Winford. Let's talk about them.
Great. So that then brings me to, you are talking about merchandising.
Yeah.
And if you realize, we just had an appointment for a corporate affairs and marketing manager.
That's right.
Even before he took office, there's been quite a number of things set up. We just had a meeting for a kit sponsor. We just had about 10 kids sponsors ready to cloth arts, spread all over the country.
We're going to see a change.
Something is going to happen.
It must happen.
And that is what I want you to look out for.
Because
something is going to happen, and that's what I want you to look out for.
Mostly we blame, GFA is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Football is so that. Sometimes they even blame the media for pushing the English Premier League ahead of the Ghana Premier League. But can we make it a little bit attractive? Can we make it attractive ourselves?
We just have to be professional in our approach to things. You just cannot come to the stadium clothed anyhow. There must be some professional approach to things, and GFA, Professional League Board, and so on must ensure this professional outlook. And I'm sure when we do that, we would get the necessary recognition that we need. Now, also come to think of the stadium. Now you go to the stadium and it's virtually empty.
How do you get people into it?
How do you get?
I have templates for you, and if a consult.
No, John. Look, there are initiatives we are taking.
Okay, already.
There are initiatives already we are taking, and I'm sure should the league start any moment, you see the result of those initiatives. Where we'll attract, as young as I was, maybe in Form 3 those years, I was going to the stadium. Even before then, I was class 5, class 4, I was going to the stadium. What was I going to do there? It was all a matter of just attracting,
going to want to start.
Cultivating something.
Lately, you see, and sometimes I feel, well, you are here and you're the point of contact for all the other clubs. Yeah. Really, I don't feel, the normal fan doesn't feel why he should go to the stadium. Doesn't see the reason why. And you don't make too much noise about what you have.
No,
your players, you have to market them and start using them. Use them for the adverts. Let's see Let's see Sean October standing somewhere on the billboard, in Accra, and let's keep reminding ourselves of these stars that we have to see every weekend.
Great. What happens? In marketing your players, you must have a sponsor. Where the sponsor says, I'm going to get associated with this player of the team. Okay, I'm going to pay you so much. Then you, as a benefit to the sponsor, you do that as well. We are going to, we are trying as much as possible to get a minimum of about 3 sponsors for the club. We call them headline, and then we have 2 other sponsors. Let's not even talk about the service providers that we can sign so many contracts with. It's all a matter of getting them excited about what we are doing. When we are able to get them into, and they also see what we are about, I'm sure they'll come easy.
Because I laugh at those who say, well, Ghanaians do not like the local game anymore. But Accra Hearts can Kotoko play.
We can
even
do
on
that.
Days when the Chelsea Manchester United,
right. We can do that.
The stadium is full.
Yeah, we can do that.
And that's what we're talking about. Yeah. So you have a lot of work to do in that,
we can do it.
Very much more.
We started something. For years, Accra Hearts has not played Kotoko in any friendly game.
It was great. It was
since May 9th. And it took me quite some talking to do.
And that was a plus.
And it came off.
A feather in your cap. I think we'll give that to you. We'll give your stone back to you. It's just as well. And again, in talking about your role as a managing director, have you been given the assurance that you're going to be allowed to do this job without any interference?
The interference? I really do not know how to interpret that, but it's a matter of presenting your plans. The board is giving you the vision, what they expect. Now I have to fit my strategies and other objectives into what the vision that the board has. So what do? You have to present the board, they digest what you want to do. Come out with, after digestion, definitely you come out with a much better plan, and then they tell you, please go ahead and implement.
Now here's a big question everybody wants to hear, and I'm sure even the old ladies watching us just want to know something. The Ghana ladies watching us, Sue and Labadi. Yes. When is Hearts going to win the league? It's been some time running now.
I can assure you, should the league start now, we'll win the league hands down. That's a cross for
that's a big one. Right?
Yes.
Wow, that's a big one, but you lost to Kotoko. That was just a friendly game?
Excuse me.
That was just a friendly. They have 23 and I have 20.
No, it's a friendly game, but I can assure you, when the 3 points are at stake, and let me repeat here now.
It's a different ball game.
It's a different ball game.
I think you have a good coach in Herbert Addo.
That is the basic thing. I mean, we have one of the strongest technical benches in the country at the moment, and we want to ensure that the cause, that is the effect on the play, comes back to sponsors.
You know what I'm feeling like doing? I really feel that Opo Quinty was here, then we can talk about this some more and getting to Accra Hearts stuff. But now, time to talk about my best 11. I don't know what you make of it. Let's start with the goalkeepers, can we? I chose Sammy Ajay. And when I told you about Sammy Ajay, but so why not Sammy Ajay? Sammy Ajay is my best goalkeeper of Accra Hearts for all these years. If you don't agree, let me hear from you. What you make of that?
John, I think it depends on your era, when you started watching football.
You see, but you realize lately, realize soon that I've also picked players who are not in my era.
We'll get there.
I think it's okay.
No, you're asking me of
who would you say?
Now, I would take Dodo Ankara.
Why?
Dodo Ankara was the one I met when I was growing up, and his exploits were fantastic. I mean, I haven't seen it.
Dodo Ankara is in my substitute.
Substitute?
Yes, substitute.
No.
And I put Sammy Ajay up there. You don't agree with that one?
No, I don't want to agree with that.
Let's get into defense. And I'm going for Dankwe.
Dankwe for number 2?
Yeah, number 2.
Fullback?
Ofeansa
was the best.
Ofeansa, where is Ofeansa on my list?
Ofeansa was the best.
Ofeansa is also in my substitute. No, Ofeansa is there.
Ofeansa was the best.
So let's go. Ofeansa is also there.
Yes.
Let's shuffle that. Let's keep 1 on 2. Let's keep 1 on 3 because I think these two are great.
No, because you cannot have Dankwe and have Ofeansa as a substitute. It's never. It won't wash with
I have Ofeansa also in there. Ofeansa is in my starting lineup. And there's Dankwe in my starting lineup.
No.
So I'm trying to do the two. Why wouldn't you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't agree with that because...
Do you think they play the same position?
No, we watch them. And I can assure you, there is no way, if you put it to vote, I'm sure most people will go for the late Ofeansa.
Let's have the late Ofeansa on it as well, the late Ofeansa. And So what about him? What really about him? Because I
That's
saw
not
the
fair,
dance I did. I mean, okay, let's try and sort that out. Okay, let's try and sort that. Okay, let's try and sort that one out. Let's move on to Jacob Nettey then. But before that, what's your argument on Ofer-Ansah? Why are you taking Ofer-Ansah ahead of him?
Ofer-Ansah, I mean, he was phenomenal at the number 2 position. I mean, he you know, again, we watched him through calls, and when he hit the senior most thing,
I understand you watching him too. It was just the player 2 calls. You think that okay, but yes, well, we'll keep on this. I mean, Jacob Nettey is in my starting lineup.
For position number 3.
That's right.
Position number 3, no.
You disagree everything.
No, I think I watched players who actually performed at the 3 positions better than
Jacob didn't perform?
He did, but I don't think I can rate him over Hesio Dampton.
I have no. When you mentioned so I think we're deciding here who is in the starting lineup. Because I think we don't disagree on where they are because I still have them somewhere on it. By my substitutes bench.
Okay, let's go.
Ado Dampton. Ado
Dampton was the best 5 we've ever had.
We agree on this one?
Yes, but
last one.
We haven't gone to 4.
Okay.
The number 4 position.
Who's going to play number 4 for you?
Number 4 that I came to meet that I loved was my son, Sam Amatefio.
So you want him to play number 4?
It was just
phenomenal. And in that, you would like him to play alongside who?
To play alongside Ado Dampton.
And you think that will be fine?
Lovely. It was the best player I've ever met. You know, we had the Justice Moss and what do you call him, Micah. You know, playing 4 and 5 and so on. But I think this pair they were just phenomenal.
Well, let's continue with us getting to the midfield as well, and not necessarily. But you see, I'm just trying to move through this and that. So don't mind. Who's going to be your number 6?
Number 6. Actually, I'm a bit confused between Adolf Ama and Tete Chandu.
Adolf Ama.
Yes.
And Tete Chandu.
Yes.
Adolf Ama is in my substitute bench actually.
Right.
And let me continue with my list. So he's mentioned. I'm also mentioning my list anyway. Well, I'm taking it all as attacking because what I'm doing here is that I've selected my best 11, and I'll decide where to put them. You know, in terms of let's have Chastela in there. Are you going to query me if I put Chastela in this list?
No, I said from the very beginning that it depends on the era that you started enjoying the game.
You're not giving me you see, by the way, you're not giving me the impression.
Historical.
No, you're not. You're not giving me the impression that I'm choosing only players I saw play.
That's what I'm saying.
That. But we agreed on Ado Dampton. Now we did, and now. But I've done my research. But I've done my research. So you cannot write down my players and say because.
No, I'm not saying I'm totally.
Chastela is a fantastic chap, and he should be in this. He deserves to be in the best
position. Are you talking about? Because
if I put him on the wing. If I put him on the wing.
On the wing of 7.
Yes.
On the wing of 7, I don't see him overcoming Ofer Dodu of old and Robert Foley.
I have Ofer Dodu in my list.
And Robert Foley?
I have Ofer Dodu in my list, don't I? I have Ofer Dodu. Give him Ofer Dodu. I've told you it's not about my era players.
That's
it's not about. Let's go on my list. Shamokwe. Any day, anywhere.
Yes, any day, anywhere. Shamokwe should feature. I won't dispute that.
Shamo Leda.
Shamo Leda, yes, I won't dispute that at all.
Can we have Mohamed Polo? These are not players of my days. I mean, just and Mohamed Polo is a player of my day.
Mohamed Polo, was not a player of your day, and I say he was very, very phenomenal. I mean, I'm inclined to push Prince Amate closer to him, but no, I think Polo was ahead because Polo took over from Prince Amate, in fact.
Course. And I think we agreed on Ofer Dodu.
Yes, Ofer Dodu for the 7.
We agree with him certainly. And well, let's look at my substitutes bench. I think maybe that's where we can do a bit of that.
Right.
I have of course. How can we forget about the Ados? The Ados have held Accra Hearts.
Ismail Ado, yes.
Ismail Ado.
Yes, Ismail Ado.
It's not Ismail Ado. It's George Ado. It's not George Ado. It is Herbert Ado.
So we are related to the Ados, right?
Yeah, of course. The Ados have held not only Accra Hearts.
I think Ismail Ado did phenomenal. I mean, he performed well during his time, and. Yes, he did, and I'm sure closer to him is Peter Lamte.
Peter Lamte.
Yeah.
Okay. I have Peter Lamte in my substitute bench. I have Don Bote, I have Joe Ansah, I have CK Jemfi, I have Griffin.
Yes.
I didn't do bad. I have Sunny Wahab.
And the Gaman Jala, George Alassane.
Yes, George Alassane. George Alassane is also in there. So I did a good job. But there's also Emmanuel Sekufo. I can't forget about him.
Emmanuel Sekufo played more of an 8.
Yeah.
Position.
So,
that's rubbing shoulders with Shamukwe.
Best coach of all time, easy to say, Sir Jones. Sir Jones is the best. He made it.
He made it.
Because he went for the...
No, I think he succeeded mainly because he took over quite, he molded the team. When he took over the players,
and he
actually molded the team together and he achieved success. He did wonderfully. Sir Jones.
Well, we're just about rounding up. But guys, can I have the Heartspoke song in the background? And let's see how well Gerald will do singing just a bit of it. Let's have it in the background. Let's try. Can we try it in a bit of it? Because you were part of the supporters, and you know, so phobia. Let's have the song in the background. Let's see what you can do.
But if for your viewers' sake, this is not the official Hearts of Oak anthem.
So what's it? Okay. So you sing the official.
No, I wouldn't sing it now because my voice is not too good.
Okay.
But I can tell you that it's another initiative that we are bringing. Before every home match, before the kickoff, the anthem will be sung. We all get up and we sing the Hearts of Oak anthem.
So the one that's playing, arise, arise, arise.
That's a modification.
Yes.
It's a modification.
So won't you sing it for me?
Oh no. I don't know why I'm doing the mood. No, it's not.
Never.
We use that word when we are winning.
So what do you say?
Be gallant and cheer us up.
Be gallant and cheer us up.
Yes, when we are winning,
be quiet and don't be silly.
That's right. You see, so I keep telling you. I'll do that for you on my appearance at the next one. I promise you.
Okay. And when the fan gets excited, Director Eugene says time up. He's not a Heartspoke fan, I'm very sure about that. Certainly one Kumasi Asante fan there out there, no matter what it is. Thank you very much, Gerald, for joining us on the show. It's been fantastic speaking to you. And you promised that Heartspoke is winning the league. Not only that, they're beating Kumasi Asante to go back to back.
Oh man, that's a done deal.
All right, so
it's a done deal.
We have you on the show, and you're going to be here. Not forever, but you'll be coming here very often. Once you come on the award-winning First Capital Plus Premier League show, you're always